This is one of those rare photos of the day, and all of them are still alive. My friend Philip, he wasn't the first, but he was close. My friend Scott, who we lost a long time ago. This is a program through Shanti that is called Honoring Our Experience. It's a program for long-term survivors. So this is what we like to do. Join hands. We like to remember that we come together. We come together to break isolation. We come together recognizing that there's a healing power in community. Let's take a deep breath together. If you were a gay man, as of like 1982, 83, like you spent every day in the shower, you checked your body to see if there was a lesion, if there was a spot. If you had sweats at night, anything that you had a sore throat, you were concerned, like, is this it? Is this it? I figured I was positive somewhere around 85 or 86. I went to a doctor and he said, you're probably HIV positive and there's nothing we can do for you.
I've been positive about 30 plus years. Amidst the day-to-day, renew my gratitude for my well-being.
I'm HIV negative, but I went through the crisis with everybody else. Lost my best friend and quite a few other people, and it is just very good to gather together and remember.
Found out I was positive on January 2nd, 2017. I immediately sought out help.
Positive 11 years. I work with Shanti. I'm an HIV counselor, and I'm so happy to be here.
I started a group in 1989 when there were no successful treatments and we didn't have a medication that was the answer to the AIDS epidemic. And we were just coming together with hope of doing things that we could do to maintain our health. When I saw the work that Shanti started doing, their posters would be on at bus stops all around the Castro. The image that they used was an eclipse because of the incredible darkness that our community was going through at that time. And they were asking for volunteers that could go and take a weekend training and go into the homes of complete strangers who needed their dishes washed, needed laundry done, or needed someone to sit at their bedside. And this was at a time when 1 out of 2 gay men in the Castro were HIV positive, and they were told that they had 1.5 years to live. I looked at those posters and I thought, who would be crazy enough to do that? I thought it sounded terrifying. I wanted to be able to do that kind of thing. I became that person that could do that kind of thing. But when I first saw it, I thought, damn right, it is an eclipse.
We have the elements here of everything that made 5B so wonderful. There were care providers like me, and then we had the community. People like Irene, who came onto the unit and just gave and gave and gave of themselves. And then we had you, who helped to inform HIV care and really nursing care.
My vivid memories, shame is too strong a word, but of certain friends that were just like toothpick thin that I couldn't drag myself to visit because I was too scared. Then my experience was definitely not like the strength and beauty and pure heart that you had.
I found it terrifying. They were acknowledging that it was real, and I was in this space of trying to fill our lives with so much love that it's gonna actually just wipe away the death and the illness and all of the suffering that's happening.
When 5B opened, I do remember saying this is where I want to be, and it was just absolutely still is the most passionate experience I've ever had in my life.
At this dark time, we had a world that was wagging their fingers at us and saying, you brought this on yourself. You got to figure this out yourself. I started feeling like I want to bring together a community of people. People that are facing stuff that we can't make sense of, we don't understand, we don't know what the way out is. When we come together, we recognize it is probably the most consistently in common thing that we have with our fellow human beings is that there's incredible loss and suffering in our lives. There's so much in our world and in our lives where we can feel so separate and so different and so not connected. It's powerful to remember that the other is possible.
Yes, we knew that there were people who were dying, and they were dying really fast, and it wasn't pretty, but we didn't know about an epidemic. All the heart, all the love, all the good care, all that we did that was unique, that was special, that was informed, that we listened, that we loved. It wasn't, that was not enough. It wasn't enough to stop a virus.
It was a newscast with the police walking down the streets of the Castro in full bodysuits and the plastic hoods and everything, and there was flashing across the TV was killer disease in the Castro. And I sat there looking at this and said, oh my God, that's what Michael has. And I stayed through the fear, but I had support.
So many memories are coming to me. I just feel so raw. There was a man, he was so young, he was a boy. He was the first person many of us, me included, had ever seen covered with KS lesions. And we couldn't even do the exercise. We just fell into each other's arms and cried. They had to have us leave the room.
When I got diagnosed, my doctor, she dropped the bomb. And I died in that moment. She grabbed me by the head. This, like, you're gonna die. Just not from this. That's what kept me going. And I cannot even imagine the pain that you all must have been through if you were on the days where he was literally at that sentence. So you couldn't even have that. That kept me going. I had that since day one. Because of you. Thank you.
That a stranger can share a little bit of their story, and it can be some painful, horrible, frightening as to what is to come story, and that the people in that room can deeply feel them and then feel lifted as a result of just being the witness to that story, feeling like in some way that that person won't be carrying that story alone. I never get enough of that.